Welcome to Grow Girl Podcast, where we empower women one conversation at a time. I am your host, Inuka Joe, and
I'm your host, What's So Honest from We Are Not the Same podcast.
please subscribe to our YouTube platform and all social media accounts.
Yes, good evening.
Good
How was
evening.
your weekend? Or your week, I should say. How was your week?
My week was long. It was long.
We're in the month of May. Like, we started back in October, setting all this podcasting up.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I looked up and I'm like, wow, I'm proud of us. Like, we're in the month of May and we're still going, we're still doing our thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, consistency is real. And we're doing the best we can.
Listen, we definitely are. We've definitely been consistent, and time is like moving along,
Yes.
going so fast.
Yes, it is. So now that we're in the month of May, it's so much to celebrate. So we're going to start by saying Happy Mother's Day
Happy
to
Mother's
all the
Day.
moms. Happy Mother's Day. And also this month is mental health awareness. All right. So shout out to everyone that have taken mental health awareness serious. Everyone that took their time out to seek therapy, find a new hobby, just was able to recognize that something's going on, or supporting a family member or a friend or a coworker that is going through something, dealing with mental health awareness. So, on that note, what is your take on mental health? Like, when did you finally realize or have understood what mental health awareness is about?
Well, the whole awareness of it, when it first started, like when I first started hearing about mental health, I didn't quite understand it. And then I started getting it. So, just the same way as we all take care of our physical health, right?
Yeah.
We have a issue with our feet, our hands, our heart, we go to a doctor. We also have to take care of our mental health. So I have to see it in that aspect that our minds is something else that we have to, treat and be mindful of. So it's very important, and I'm super happy that we have Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah. So
It's
I
needed.
did look it up, and people ask questions about, okay, what is mental health? We all have mental health because we all have a mind.
Yeah.
We all have a mind that keeps going and going and going. But when do you stop, drop, and realize, okay, something's happening?
Right.
I'm having an issue, and I'm not ready to, title it what it is, but I
Mhm.
know I need to speak about it, or I need to seek help, or something's going on.
I think the issue is when you have like an issue physically, you can see it,
Yeah,
right? But mental health, it's like you can't see it. It's invisible until it manifests.
true.
Then that's when you want to go get the help. But we don't know. We're not privy to understanding how to initially take care of our mental health.
Got it. On that note, what is the difference between mental health and mental health illness?
So, mental health is your mental health,
Yeah,
just
is
like your
that
physical
two
health,
word?
your heart health, your women health, all of that,
Yes.
right? And the mental illness is an issue. It's a
Yeah.
diagnosis, right?
Basically, yeah.
Right.
So when I looked it up online, so mental health, once again, it's your mental, your mind, your where you at,
Yeah.
what you experienced in life, trauma,
Yeah.
abuse, and the list can go on where your mental health can affect you. Because mental health illness starts when you finally realize you're in a situation you can't no longer.
It's a cycle, like a pattern. Like you keep going
Yeah,
through
you
this
can no
loop in your
longer.
mind.
You can no longer understand what's going on with you when you're in a situation.
Right.
So,
Listen, they say that mental health, like illness, starts in your teenage years.
yes,
I've also heard that it's hereditary. What do you think about that?
I believe it's hereditary
Yeah.
without the smile, but I think it's hereditary. I think part of mental health can be hereditary. Um, yeah, and that can be very traumatic for some people.
Why is it so taboo for us to even accept that it's hereditary? Because when a doctor asks you questions about your health, they go into your family history.
Yes,
They're
they
like,
do.
does your mother have diabetes,
Yes.
high blood pressure? And we be like, yeah, no, and we're good with that. But the mental part is like, we don't really want to,
Because
it's sticky.
at that moment, you don't know, now, we'll get on that topic soon too. When you're raising a kid, like now with us, when we're finally realizing our mom's traumas or our aunts and uncles, and we're realizing like now we're all adults in the situation, and we realize, wow, that person really had a mental issue back in the days.
Yeah,
If we could speak about what we spoke about on our last show, which was amazing, alcoholism.
true.
It's part of mental health as well, where you're drinking and
Suppressing.
using substance to suppress your mental health, to not overthink, to not think about what happened, to drown yourself in all the trauma you had. So you're right. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember a doctor really asking me about mental health with our family. Maybe they ask you that when you're going in for any psych
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah. I think it's a very taboo topic because we can't see the issue,
Yeah.
but it's imperative that we deal with our mental health like we
Yeah.
deal with our physical health.
Mental health for me is definitely a feeling. It's a
Mm.
feeling where you can feel it. You can feel where you got to stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop,
You
and
can feel.
roll.
You can feel where I'm not here right now. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't feel connected to something. I don't feel happy. I'm sad. It's all a feeling, like our five senses or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a feeling that can go low or high. Because a lot of people think a mental health illness is only a high spectrum. No, it's a low to it too,
Yeah.
where depression kicks in,
Let me tell
sadness
you.
kick in.
And then it's all also correlated. Like, for example, postpartum depression.
Yes,
Okay. That's something that's going on physically with your body and it affects your mental.
true.
So everything we have to analyze all parts of us, not just one part. Like, us women, we just go, every year to get our annual. We got to also make sure that we're checking in with ourselves as well mentally, you
Yeah.
know?
Back in 2023, I created this thing which someone told me I should create like an app for it, where I did a mental health check-in. So it was
Ooh.
basically from 1 to 10.
Uh-huh.
It will have your I had it in my hand earlier, but it was like where you at with finance, where you at with school. It was more for the teens at that time.
Oh, that's so good.
And we were checking in. I kid you not, in the beginning, everyone wasn't too comfortable doing it because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know my number's a 5 or it's a 4, or then you'll start
Yeah.
seeing a 5, but it's gonna get better, or a 6, and I'm gonna work on it, or not. Today was a 10, right? And then I remember one time someone said, "Wait, if you're up to a 10, that's probably too much because now you're above your mental." But I'm like, no, a 10 is good.
Yeah.
Don't think a 10 is bad. A 10 is good. Some people want to stay borderline because they don't want to know that they can make it to a 10. But I'm not going to lie, that season, it lasted probably like a good year of me sending it out to all my nieces, my nephew, depending on who it was, and I'll send it out to them. And I'll get the results back, and I will actually jot it down. I'll record it, and then I'll send it back to them like, hey, last week this was your number. You're doing better.
Oh, that's really,
You
really, really
know?
good.
So we had one that was business, and they're like, but I don't own a business. But I was like, do you work for a business? Think about it like that. How you doing with the business? So when I seen it, I was like, I want to go back doing that. I think it was
No,
an
that
amazing
sounds
thing.
really good to
Someone was like,
do.
you should create an app for this one. This is really dope. So I'll look into it, y'all.
Yeah,
But that was
especially
nice.
nowadays.
A mental health check
Yeah.
moment. And yeah. Some people, if I didn't send it, they're like, hey, I didn't get the mental thing. I was like, you can always do it and send it to me. You don't have to wait for me to send it to you, but or I'll be like, send me your numbers.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that'll
good
definitely be
way.
part of my,
That's a good way to check in
yeah.
with
It was called a
yourself.
check-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it started with me.
Doing it for
Yeah,
yourself.
like checking in, like, okay, where I'm at here, where I'm at here. And then I realized, wait, this can help other people. So that's when I
Yeah.
started texting it out.
That's so good.
So I'll probably get back to that. I'm gonna think about it.
I think it's needed, especially in this generation.
Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh.
What generation are we in right now?
I believe we're in Generation Z.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the mix. I think it's Z and A.
Z and A. Yeah, Z. The A's are alive.
they're,
They're alive. They're here.
they're
They're
surviving.
surviving. Generational Z, Generational A. I'm like, wow, because they are familiar with AI from
Well,
the get go.
generational A is the first generation that's fully
Fully,
digital.
fully digital.
Generation Z started like they started off with the books or whatever. Then they were like the first generation that was introduced to smartphones. But Generation A, they just came already knowing the color of the YouTube to click.
It's so crazy, but it's real. It's true.
It's
1 year
happening.
olds are like ding 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 ding
Yeah,
ding.
they know.
They
And it's
know.
really a color thing for them at that moment, but they know to click on that. So, oftentimes we hear people say, oh, this generation, that generation. What's your take with where we at with the generations? Because we're what, millennials?
Yeah, I'm a millennial. But I do feel like I have a little Gen Z in me as well.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
The Gen Zs are the digital natives. I'm a little digital savvy, just a little bit, just a tad bit. We're socially conscious. I
Okay.
feel like I have that. And Gen Zs are entrepreneurial,
Yes.
and I have that as well. And the Gen Zs, they're attracted to me. Like they think that I'm like on their team almost.
So you can just say you're stuck in the middle because I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
stuck in the
sometimes
middle. Yeah.
I'm stuck in the middle with
Yeah.
the ones above me, myself, like the millennials, and then the one under me, which is the Gen Zs.
Right. I could definitely agree with that. I do believe like I'm stuck in the middle or whatnot. And the Gen A's are the ones that I'm a little fearful of
Why?
because they're so digital with AI. Like in their future, I don't even know what jobs they're going to have. I don't know what jobs they're going to have. I don't even know if they're going to be socially aware because they're so digital.
I mean, I've been on Indeed lately,
Uh-huh.
and I'm really shocked to see the type of jobs they're asking for,
What
especially
are you
with
seeing?
content creators.
Hey.
A lot of digital stuff. I'm the generation where we had to put our phones away during the 8-hour work, right? You can't even have your phone on the floor when you're in certain schools or clinicals or whatever. Now,
True.
jobs are hiring you now to come and record, come and do content for them, or once again, remote jobs. But you're right about their jobs. I mean,
No, because it's like the thing with Gen A, because they're in the AI realm and everything is so digital with them, a lot of the times people are afraid that they're not going to know how to, relate one on
social.
one socially.
Yeah.
Right? It may happen, may not. I don't know. But I'm just saying that's one of the things that I read about like Gen A's.
Well, I'm familiar with a couple of Gen A's. One thing I will say, they like to express themselves though.
They don't care, huh?
They're open to speak about it. Like if you get them at a place where you ask them a question about something personal or something, they will speak.
Okay.
They don't mind speaking. It's not that they're not afraid to get judged.
That's so true. They're not.
They're not.
I think as the millennials, we're more.
Yeah, of
On
course
the-
we don't.
we don't
'cause
wanna get judged.
We were raised where you don't want to be judged. You don't want to look shamed upon.
Yeah.
But the millennials tell you straight up, like, yeah, and then you like, whoa, too much, too much.
Yeah.
But then you gotta be like, wow, like if you actually speak to them, they'll speak back.
That's true. Another thing that I realized about our generation of millennials, we were taught to go to school,
Yes,
get married before 30,
yes. Buy a house.
buy a house. Oh yeah, that house thing was big. Buy a house,
A routine.
a
Work.
routine, and work. Yeah.
So, school, work, wife, kids, home.
Right.
School, work, wife, kids, home.
Yeah.
And some of us are still stuck in that.
Stuck trying to get there, but realizing that that's not the goal.
No.
We don't have to have that pattern in every lifetime for everybody.
No. That's why I like the fact that we can keep Gen Z around. You know what I'm saying? Like some people be like, oh, their kids know they'll help. Like right now, I'm working on a whole skin routine. I gotta go to Gen Z about it. Cause the older girls, they're with the products that I'm like, you know, Gen Z, they be glowing.
They be
You know, so
glowing.
I gotta go to Gen Z to ask about hair products. If I'm buying an extension, I'll send it to one of my nieces. Hey, what do you think about this wig? They know.
No, they do know, and they content game be on point. I'm like,
Real
who
point.
taught you?
Yeah.
They just know.
Yeah. And the thing about their content, they're not afraid. You know how I'm very like, oh my God, Inuka, how do I sound? How do I look?
They don't care.
No. Those kids are like, yeah, and da-da-da. Yeah. They don't care.
They're
But then
so
low key, you want to tell them, no, 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 you should care. You
yeah.
should have some type of shame about certain things. But yeah, Gen Z, I think they're definitely the generation that is now realizing what college is about, and they could care nothing about it.
That's true
Unless
too. Yeah. It was definitely the millennials. We were so college savvy.
career driven.
Yeah, career driven. Now it's just content, social media, online, everything. Entrepreneur, become your own brand.
Yes,
Okay, and that's all good,
it is.
and I love it. I do.
But I know in every generation, it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance. So even with Gen Z, like it's okay to ask the millennials because I feel like Gen Z is us on steroids. Like Gen Z is the millennials where if we didn't listen to Sister Mary Kate, we would have been the Gen Zs of our generation. You know, because remember, we always had a talent. We always had a hobby that could have became a job, but we were always told, you got to do this, you have to do that. Don't do this. Don't wear no short dress. He don't like to see you half naked. That's why we all look. We all was like 22, 23, looking like little old ladies.
Oh.
Because someone told us, don't show the skin, don't do this, don't do that. So we were covered up. If you see some pictures of me and some of my friends, we look like older women in our 20s. So,
You did.
Yes, because we were told, don't show skin, don't do this. He don't want no hoochie in bed. He don't want this. Yeah. All of that. And then there was always a scene where he really wanted to take that stripper home, but then we over here look like little old ladies
Oh my
trying to please
gosh.
mommy and going there like a whole turtleneck. You feel me? And then later on we realized, no, 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 no. I mean, girl, you look old.
I felt like I always looked young. I always tried to,
You
that
didn't go through a
balance.
phase where you felt like you needed that big purse, that not
That
accessory, but
baby
it was
bag.
like, what you call it, the big well,
Baby bag. I got a big bag now.
that's that business look though. That's
Yeah.
what was happening. We had this career look to us,
Okay.
but we're only like 23.
Wow.
But we'll go to events or a baby shower looking like grown women. Nah. So when it looks like we're going backwards, it's not that we're going backwards with the millennials. I think we're finally listening to our own self.
Yeah.
Because for me, for millennials of like us, we're 4 years apart. My millennial moments it was always this, I don't know if I could say this, but it was always this spiritual mom you had
Okay.
that already experienced her situation. She could have been whatever in the streets, whatever, whatever, but now she's holy thou.
Whatever in the streets,
So,
y'all.
so now she's like the holy thou. So guess what? When she see you, she see me, she don't want us to go through that. So what ended up happening, she's telling us her experience. So now we're like going off of what she's telling us to not do because what she did and where she felt it didn't get her.
Like a mentor.
A mentor.
Okay.
So it made us stuck. So the millennials, we were stuck for a good minute. We were stuck trying to be this perfect wife, this perfect mom if you had kids, or this perfect career girl where you were afraid to get fired. Because that was another thing. They put in our mind where like you have to work, try not to get fired. So you worked under all the pressure.
I definitely believe I was Gen Z growing up. I didn't care to get
That's-
fired. I did not.
Oh yeah, Gen Z don't care about work.
Yeah, I didn't care to get fired. I remember going to work in my 20s and be like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm going to
Yeah.
be leaving soon. I'll plan my day to resign.
When it comes to Gen Z, I know when I hear people are hiring for positions, yeah, they'll come for that work. They'll come for the work day, get paid, and don't come back.
Some do that.
Like, oh, okay, it's not for me. Why? Oh, I didn't like the way the lady told me to fix that. I felt like she was just rude.
Yeah, yeah. I had respect though.
Hmm.
I wouldn't just leave a job because they were rude. I knew I had responsibilities, but in the back of my mind, I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, that I wanted to make my own money, and that I had to get there. So that's the millennial part of me. That's the millennial side of me or whatnot. But I do feel like I'm in between. I like that you use that word.
Yeah.
And, I have that balance, I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah.
I know for me, every year I have to balance for sure. Cause there's some nieces and nephews I wouldn't hang out with. Cause as you get older too, you realize, oh no 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 no, like I'm trying to chill a little too hard, or they're trying to chill with me a little too hard. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? But when I think about Generation Z and Generation A, I think about their parents,
Who their parents are.
cause their parents reflects them.
Okay.
So usually their parents are millennials and
Yeah.
the Ys.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The millennials and the Ys birth the Gen Zs and Gen
So of
A.
course they're gonna be different because our generation, well, our parents are baby boomers.
I think so, yeah. Probably a little older. No, the
Yeah.
60s, the 60s.
Yeah, baby boomers.
Listen, studies show you guys, show yourself approve, okay? We're just saying what we know.
The baby boomers grew up in a whole, I mean,
Oh,
different era. So we experienced something totally different. Now
yes.
we're millennial parents. We know social media, we know the
For
digital
the most
world.
part,
For the most part,
I
we
think
do.
a lot of millennials, we're still shy
Yeah.
with the camera. We're still like, I don't want nobody in my business, or I don't need nobody seeing my house or my bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're still a little private. So millennials, the beginning of the millennials, we are private. I don't know about the ending of the millennials. You guys are more free, probably.
I would say I'm a private person, but I like to share content on certain things. So
Yeah,
me, business savvy, so I'm gonna share content on that. But
got
my
it.
personal life, I don't like sharing it out to the world.
So, what do you think about the advice we give the Gen Zs and Gen A? Do you think our millennial advice works or help them?
What advice do we give
I'm
them?
gonna be honest. At this point, I have no advice to give. Cause what I don't want to do to a lot of Gen Z and a lot of Gen A, I don't want to stop them from making certain decisions that they think is best for them at the moment. You feel me?
Yeah.
Some of them I can navigate. Some of them I'm like, you know what? If you decide this is what you want to do at this age or at this time, I say,
I think for the most part, the Gen Zs, they have a good head on their shoulder. Like, as far as, and we can't speak in totality for every
got it.
Gen Z, but for the most part, the collective, they really try to, okay, this is the advice I would give them.
Tell me.
It's okay to work a 9 to 5
I
because
agree.
a lot of them, they just want to be an entrepreneur and they're doing that, but that's a big hustle. And sometimes it's going to take you longer to make it there and really start making some money, and they don't want to work a 9 to 5. I recently spoke to a Gen Z and she was like, she's an entrepreneur or whatnot, and she was like, man, I think I got to get 9 to 5 because it's kind of hard with this entrepreneurial life. I said, yeah, and it's okay. You just look at it as temporary, but it's nothing wrong with having a job. So that's the advice that I would give them. But I think majority of them, they're very goal driven,
Yes.
and they're not afraid to do the work. They'll get it done, but they don't always know that just because you're an entrepreneur don't mean that you're gonna just soar right away.
Got
It could
it.
take time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I learned about Gen Z, they won't have this high peak though. For like two, let's say 2 years, probably 3, they will be on top. I mean, doing makeup for celebrities and the business is booming, 3 location, 4 location, and then somewhere in that 4 year mark, it just starts to fall.
Why do you think that happens?
It happens because they never stop. One, for me, what I realized, they never stop to enjoy what's happening. They never put things in place for what can happen.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? And then they always just go on. They're risk takers.
Yeah.
They take risks. You
Yeah.
know, if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But then they don't know how to, when it all falls down,
How was the foundation?
the foundation. And then one thing I can say about Gen Zs, they don't blame. I know millennials or we blame. Like the reason why I'm like, we're gonna blame somebody. But Gen Z, I realize they try not to blame what mom did, what dad did. They probably now sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe if my dad was a little more, in my life for this sports in my life, I probably would have been further. Or maybe if my mom was to push me more. Because they have moms that be like,
Millennials do blame. You're so right.
we do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we do.
They be blaming their
But
parents.
our blame game is real though. Like us blaming is a real fact. You don't think so?
I mean, yes and no. Yeah, well, certain things that you don't have control of, it's more of I didn't have control over this. I couldn't
Yeah.
control this.
So when
You
when you go through the blaming game, you'll complain, go through your phase, all that and the third, and then there's a point in your life you have to be like, okay, no.
take
I can't-
responsibility.
I can't stop what I'm doing because someone didn't put something in place for me.
True.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because if I could think about school, no shade. I love my mother. Happy Mother's Day. We do celebrate Haitian Mother's Day as well.
Hi, Mama.
But back in the 80s, 90s, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm sorry. It is what it is. When you had a lot of kids, someone convinced our moms, parents, whatever, to let them file with their child.
Wait, foul what?
Income tax.
Wait,
So,
aren't we supposed to do that?
No.
Oh, wait, you talking about another?
like your aunt, your uncle,
Oh,
or one
yeah,
of their
that's not
friends,
good.
So not knowing what can happen in the back end. So
Wow.
what happened was
Credit?
a family member basically filed taxes with one of us, right? But the time that we wanted to go to school, he was making at that point too much for us to receive financial aid. And that caused a bad thing. It was that now you're gonna blame your mom.
Yeah.
For
okay.
letting that happen.
That's definitely a blame.
Yeah.
That's a blame. That's a real blame.
So that's what I mean by some blames are
Yeah.
facts. Like
Yeah.
some blames are
Non-negotiable. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
blame.
So I know that was one of the blames, with financial aid to know like, wait, I'm confused. Wait, who's this? And they're saying the name, you know who they asking for, but you're acting dumb because you're like, wait,
So you weren't able to pursue school?
The first year of my school career, I wasn't able to get financial aid due to whoever filed taxes for me. So this is why, honestly, believe it or not, when I was doing financial aid for my son and my nieces and nephews, I didn't know what to do. I kept telling them I never applied for my own financial aid. They always had someone in the financial aid office or someone assigned to you and just asked you a question and they typed it in. All they needed was the documents of your parents. So I never had to really sit there and fill out a FAFSA form, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
So boom, that first year I wasn't able to. So shout out to whoever filed my financial aid form at Miami-Dade. She was able to get it where I was able to at least do the first, semester and beyond in my books. But it was still an era of someone making too much that I wasn't able to get the full amount of the Pell Grant. at the
Parents, we
time.
can't be doing that. We can't be filing the wrong kid. We
Yeah.
can't be putting kids here and other
Putting
kids on
their
your
names on the
FBL
you know
bill. We can't do these things. I don't think parents do them anymore. I think these were the back in the days.
Back in the days, parents. I think for us, we try not to.
We
As
want to
much-
help our kids.
Yeah.
We care about that. We really do.
Yeah. Like our credit matter now for our kids.
Oh yeah.
So, which some parents did care before, but it is what it is.
Some parents took out credit on their kids.
Yeah. It was a video going around on social media about that. About a guy that wanted to purchase a home, but he couldn't because the mom had took out a loan already under his name.
Oh, that sucks. Like I care so much about my son's financial well-being. I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
That
And
really
if you
sucks.
do, I'm just saying, make it make sense. You know,
Make
make
it
it
make
make sense.
sense.
Make it make sense where if you're building that kid credit in the midst of
That's
what you're
different.
doing,
Yeah.
like make it make sense. But don't just automatically just think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use your name and,
Yeah. That's not good at all.
because it comes back.
Yeah, it does.
So like I said, with Gen Z, with Gen, they don't complain.
They don't complain. Okay.
They don't. They don't use no excuse of oh it's your fault, it's that fault. And if they do it for a little bit and they keep it moving.
Yeah. Gen A's, I don't know what they do.
Gen A's feel like no one can run their life though. Gen A feel like if you tell them to do something, you're trying to run my life. I want to be free. Don't like. It's not that you can't tell them what to do, but at that moment they just feel like if I want to cut my hair, if I want to do this, what's the problem?
What's the big deal?
With millennials, we listen. If our parents are like, you can't dye your hair gold, we not dyeing our hair gold. Now, Gen A, they okay.
Dyeing their hair purple.
What's gonna happen? And Gen A is smart. Cause Gen A, they read you in a good way. Like they know, like, okay, if I dye my hair gold, my mom is just gonna complain for a little bit and then she's gonna let it go. So they start learning your techniques of how you deal with them as far as discipline.
That's true. Let me tell you. So, what my son, he is a Gen Z, but he's still on the cups, I guess.
Okay.
So, I always tell him. I taught him his needs and wants. I said, whenever you're gonna buy something, ask yourself, is this a need or a want? So you don't always have to spend so much money, right? And he gets allowances. So he came to me. He was like, "Oh, mom, I want to, order some food." I said, "Is that a need or a want? Because we got food in the fridge." He was like, "I don't want the food in the fridge.
Don't want
Can I get
leftovers."
this or whatever, blah, blah." I said, "By all means." I like, whatever. Like, I just ignored him. Then I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth and I hear, "Love you, mom." So I said, "Wait, are you going to sleep?" Because he just randomly said, "I love you, mom." So I said, "Are you
Yes.
going to bed?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, that was a random I love you." Because usually we say I love you before bed or in the
Yes.
morning. So I got out the bathroom. Tell me why his Uber Eats came.
I know that's right.
So that's why he said, "Love you, mom," to butter me up. I don't know.
Low key, you made the decision without making the decision, but
Right.
he read between the lines and he like, you know what? I'm gonna get this food.
I'm going to get this food.
Real
Love you,
bad.
mom. I said, "That's why you said I love you." He's like, "I can't tell you I love you." I said, "Jonathan, listen.
Exactly.
That was a random I love you. It was because of the
Like
food
it's really
came.
like I got you, mom.
Got you, mom."
So I was blessed to have a child that's actually stuck in the middle,
Of what?
millennials and Gen Z.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because technically he was raised in a Gen Z era.
Okay.
I'm sorry, in a millennial era, but is a Gen Z far as the dates of being
Okay.
born. So he was that kid that digital. He wasn't born with the phones. Actually,
You didn't give it to
smartphones,
him.
I mean, no.
Okay.
Smartphones. We had just started getting
Oh,
the
yeah.
Nokias, the flips, and all that and third. But he was that kid that got to experience a little bit of the millennial life.
Yeah.
Where, he don't have to be on his phone all the time. He can go outside and play.
Oh,
He's not
yeah.
stuck on his phone. Video games was real around that time,
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like a stuck in the middle. So now he have to deal with all the younger Gen Zs and Gen A's, and he just look at them and shake his head. So it makes it look like, I'm old. No, you're not. You don't understand them yet.
Yeah. Speaking of old, my son told me the other day that I was old. I'm like, "Old?" He was like, "Mom, how old are you?" "I thought you were 32. You're old." I'm like, "Okay."
Why do they feel like that though?
don't
I got that
know.
this morning.
You did? That you were
Yeah,
old?
like, oh, mom, you just acting like, I don't know, you just acting old. But and then I said, well, technically, I'm not old, but I'm 38. I'll be 39. But like, what do you want from me? In the sense of like, what exactly you want us to go do? Ride bikes together? Go hiking? I don't know.
They don't get it. We just got to wait till they becomes like adults, and then they'll see.
When he said that and I was thinking to myself what I felt about it, I was like, oh, you know what it is too? They so used to see us on mommy mode, on the go.
That's true.
So resting to them is like, oh no, you're acting lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know what resting mean because they're so used to us being up 5:30, taking them to school or up making breakfast. I'm old because you ain't smell no eggs and sausage and some waffles. That's why I'm old. He probably thinking to himself like, okay, so why she haven't made breakfast yet? Nah, my mom acting old. You know what I'm saying? Or like, oh, you remind me of grandma. Yeah, I'm grandma's daughter.
Right, exactly.
That's my mother. So I wouldn't know. But I shout out to Gen Z and Gen A though. But like
Shout out to y'all.
I respect them because like you said earlier, like you're afraid of Gen A.
Yeah.
I say that to say like I want to speak life into them. Because
Okay.
they are our
Our
lifesavers.
future. Yeah, they're definitely the future. We got to make sure that they're good and we help them and mold them.
Yeah, because you always hear people say, "Oh, that generation." I always tell them, "What do you guys mean about that generation?" I don't. I try not to say that. I actually don't say that anymore, or that. I just be like, listen, every generation has its perks. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think at this point of our life, we all should be happy we're experiencing.
All the
Yeah,
generations, the different
you know, from the
variety.
elders to the younger
Yeah.
ones, and being able to see them, you know, in their elements. So, once again, I try not to use that word anymore, like that generational. These kids are different. We wasn't like that. We
They
wasn't.
are different though. We weren't like
You
that.
think so? Nah. Let me. Gen A, and Gen Z. Yes, they was. Okay. Yes, they was. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not gonna say it.
Go ahead. Speak your
Okay, y'all
mind.
smoke weed. They was on crack. It's true.
The baby boomers were on
It's
crack.
true. Y'all doing what's the thing they do online?
The Mollies?
Nope.
Oh,
The Mollies. You said a baby boom was on crack?
they were on crack?
What you thought? Yeah.
They were on
Coke.
crack and coke.
Oh, cool.
It's not funny, but
Yeah.
that's what they were doing at that time. That was bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
Weed is better. It's not good, but yeah, that was bad.
Y'all have OnlyFans. They was real life on the streets.
Wow.
You see the difference with the digital
Yeah.
and what they used
Oh
to
my
do?
gosh.
So technically every generation have its own
Issue.
exactly. So, you know, you really want to be like, don't blame me, blame my upbringing, or blame my mom, or blame my daddy. But no, once again, I'm gonna repeat myself. Every generation have its own issue, and I just want to say shout out to shout out to the Gen Zs too that's dealing with their mental health now.
Yeah, so Gen Zs are big mental health advocates.
Yes.
They care about the mental health. So that's really, really good for time to come, right?
Yeah, because Generation A have to deal with all that anxiety online.
Oh yeah, they're gonna deal with a lot of that.
They have to deal with identity issues
Identity
online.
issues, exactly. Comparison. They're gonna be
Wait,
comparing themselves a
yeah.
lot. So I think Gen Z and Gen A kind of have to bridge the gap, like come together in a way, collaborate, like for real,
To save each other.
to save each other, to save the world.
You guys are our superheroes. And
Literally.
here at Once and
Grow Girl
we're
Podcast.
here to help you guys, okay? We're for the Gen A and Gen Zs, okay? No shade.
And whatever the other generation is that's
Above
coming
us
I
or
don't know,
after?
under us that are coming. I don't even want to
Yeah.
go that far.
No.
That's deep. Yeah, that's gonna be
Because
too
they're
deep.
like they're the beginning. No alpha.
Oh, I don't know how it goes.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Because
Yeah.
we don't want to give wrong information.
Yeah.
But always study yourself. Study. Whatever we talk about on the show, go back and study. You don't have to leave a comment saying we were wrong. But, you know,
That's fine. You can tell us if we're wrong or not. Well, hey,
we'll
we're
correct
learning.
ourselves. But on that note, we have the
Yes.
Girl segment.
Woo! So it's time for our Grow Girl segment where we check in,
Yes.
level up,
Amen.
and tell ourselves that growth is a journey and not a destination.
Wow.
So on today's Grow Girl segment, I want to talk to you ladies about protecting your peace. Just the same way we make sure that we secure the doors, right? Before you go to bed, I make sure I'm checking every door. I even lock my room door.
Okay.
Do you do that?
Not anymore.
You used to?
I used to. You know what? I used to. I actually don't do that anymore.
Why did you do it before? Why you stopped?
I think we were brought up to do that. I remember my
Okay.
mom them telling us to lock the doors, or we can lock the door.
Okay. Yeah. And then, you secure your bank accounts. You got to secure your peace of mind. Like, that's very, very important. And the way to do that is to, build boundaries as
Yes.
well. Don't feel guilty when you say no. It's okay. It's okay to do that. Like that's like a woosah, right?
Yes, it is a woosah because I remember the first day I learned how to say no.
Oh,
It felt so good.
and not feel guilty about it.
No, I just said no earlier today and it felt good. And I felt really good about it.
Yes. Protecting your peace is everything. You have to secure it. And, sometimes it may take a little time to ease on into that. But the more you practice, the better it becomes. And that's a part of mental health.
It is.
Because if you're a people pleaser all the time, you're going to drive yourself into a ditch.
Yes.
Don't want to do that. So secure your peace, y'all. That is the Grow Girl segment of the day. And we have a short break. Yes, we have a break because we have an amazing sponsor.
Yeah,
Our
shout
first
out
sponsor.
To Rivier.
Shout out to Rivier. So we're going to take a quick break. See y'all soon. This episode is proudly sponsored by Rivier Mental Health and Wellness, where your well-being is their top priority. Their expert team offers a wide range of services, including individual, couples, and family counseling, group therapy, addiction, faith-based counseling, and more. Meet their compassionate team of licensed professionals and certified clinicians dedicated to helping you thrive. You'll have so many clinicians to choose from. You see, getting started is simple. Visit riviermh.com, click I'm a new client, choose your preferred clinician, and book your appointment. Why wait? Take the first step towards better mental health today. All right, we're back. Thank you again, Rivier, for sponsoring this episode. Girl, how do you feel we have a sponsor?
Yes, I'm super excited about this sponsor. And it came at the right time. It came at the time for coming into the month of mental health.
Yes.
And having a therapist, and can't wait for my first session. Once again, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never enough. That's
Never
another thing I
enough.
had to think about too. It's never enough to continue because you're always trying to figure something out that you need help from. And one thing I'm learning about dealing with a therapist is other people are not really listening. And sometimes you don't want to talk to those people anymore. Because remember we spoke about that, how we all have to, about what you just said about
Securing your peace?
securing your peace. I have to respect your peace because not
True.
all the time I can call you and be like, what do you think about this? Or, girl,
Yeah.
I have a therapist now where I can balance now my friends, my family, and my therapist where I'm not putting too much on other people. So
Yeah.
that was one of my go-to for me getting back into therapy.
That's really good. And I also want to let people know the same way where you're supposed to go to the doctor annually to get your pap smear, check your heart regular,
Yes.
mental health. Look at it the same way. You got to check in with yourself. Don't look at it as something as, okay, when I have a mental breakdown, that's when I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
It's okay to see a therapist if you feel fine.
True.
It sounds taboo, but it's okay to do that.
And the amazing thing about this company, they have Creole speaking. You know how
Oh,
you go to
yeah.
a doctor's office and they ask if you want translation? No, they have our language guys. Because this month is also Haitian, Haitian month.
Haitian Heritage Month. Whoop, whoop.
Shout out to
All my
1804. For real. Shout out to 1804. So Live is actually a place where, all our Creole speaking people can tune into. Y'all can, look into Live to find a therapist that speak your language.
Exactly. You have no excuse, okay?
As far as generations with therapy, what do you think about that with the bloomers? Because they don't.
Our parent generation do not believe in therapy at all.
No.
And we cannot heal them. And it's the millennials, we've gotten into that.
Yeah.
I think we definitely
I
gotten
think
into
some of
that.
us are still like,
Kinda
I don't
stuck.
Yeah, because we don't want to tell nobody our business.
We're
and stuff.
prideful.
True.
Don't want to think that anything's wrong and not realizing it's mental health, just like your
Yeah.
physical health.
And like I said before, that lady at work that you tell all your business to, no.
Give it a
Stop.
break.
For real. Stop and go to an actual therapist. But we just want to thank Live for being our sponsor. And we can't
Yes.
wait.
Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
Yes. On that note,
yeah.
my millennial girl
Yes.
/ Gen Z.
Whoop, whoop. I'm stuck in the middle, y'all.
You sure? And it looks good on you, though.
Thank you. I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, sometimes when I chill with the Gen Zs, I'm more right now, I'm actually chilling with the Gen A's.
Okay.
Yeah, they like me.
Okay.
So that's cool.
They like you.
Yeah, they
That's
like
good.
me.
They see you as a mentor.
Till I tell them my age. And they're like, oh, I thought you were younger than that. I'm like, yeah. But it's good to be able to relate to different generations.
Yeah, that's true. That's really good. But on that note, it's been real, y'all. We want to thank you so much for tuning into Grow Girl Podcast. And
yes, thank you again. I'm your host, What's So Honest from We Are Not the Same Podcast.
And I am your host, Inuka Joe. Until next time.
Yes, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye.